The topic of today is how to defeat self-doubt during perimenopause and continuing thriving with confidence. So it's about this transition in your life. It's about aging with grace. It's about overcoming insecurity. And whether you are a woman on a cycle or not on a cycle, whether you're in your 20s or you are going through perimenopause, it doesn't matter. What I want to cover here is actually my own personal journey and the tendency for women to see each other as competition. Yeah, so that's basically what I want to talk about, but also how perimenopause can shift our understanding of who we are, and why that transition can make it harder for us, right? And we're also going to look into examples of celebrities and influencers, yes, because there is so much anti-aging discussion in the world right now, and I'm actually kind of tired of it. So I'm like, how about we go pro-aging, How about we talk about that it's a beautiful thing to age? Let's embrace aging with grace, yes. So let's dive right in, all right? Let's dive right in. I want to start with my own little story, why I was inspired to share this with you. When I was younger, I often felt like I was in competition with every woman I met. I would compare myself to them, thinking they were prettier, better, sexier, leaner, taller, more gorgeous. And this sense of rivalry, it came from a deep insecurity inside of me. I don't know if you can resonate with this. I think that we've all been there at one point in our life, but the success and beauty of other women, they made me feel inadequate, right? And I kept comparing myself and I kept feeding myself with this self-doubt. So I remember looking at all of these women who seemed to have it all together, have it all in life, feeling so much envy instead of being happy for them, right? And I kept asking myself, why can't I be more like her? Why am I not good enough? This inner conversation keep playing out in my head over and over again on repeat, fueling the cycle of negativity and self-criticism. It wasn't until I hit a breaking point that I realized something very important. The problem wasn't the women, all of those gorgeous women having it all together. It was within me. Finally, it clicked. Finally, I understood that the root cause of me not being able to support other women was my own lack of self-love and self-worth. I had been measuring my value on external factors of my life, right? External factors of my life, external standards, constantly seeking validation from the outside world. And this, my friends, it only led to a fake version of me. And it kept fueling this disconnected person. And I became disconnected from who I actually wanted to be. And this realization, it created a huge transformation inside of me. I began my transformative journey, if you so want to say it like that. But I began to focus on myself as someone who actually has unique traits, strengths, and qualities, and I didn't have to compare myself. And when the external factors were trying to put me in a box, and believe me, in my world of professional dancing and fitness, you get put in a box constantly, right? You have to fit the mold, you have to fit the standards, and I actually grew kind of tired of that. And I said, nope, I'm done. I don't want this anymore. And I started to create my own little box, but this box was my own thriving box. So I invested time and effort and a lot of money in my own personal growth. A lot of healing took place. I learned to love myself for who I was. And I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat this and say, oh, everything is so beautiful. Life is so beautiful. I have it all together now. No, I'm being real. This is a journey that keeps on going. But now, instead of me comparing myself to other women, I embrace my flaws. I embrace my imperfections without actually ignoring the root cause of my own insecurity. And when this little voice of self-doubt comes back and says, hey, Monica, you are fake, you are an imposter, you cannot do this. I ask myself, wait, who is asking these questions? Is it self-doubt, or is it actually me, my authentic self? And then I realized that it's actually that self-doubt gnawing, the fear gnawing in my head, saying that, hey, you're not good enough, you cannot do this. But then I get reminded that fear is there to push me out of what? My comfort zone. Because if you stay in one place, you're stagnant, you don't move forward. And life isn't about competing with others, it's about improving myself to become a better version of myself for myself. Perfection is just an illusion. True growth, it comes from continuous self-improvement and self-acceptance, my friends. So let's talk about this for a moment. Why do women keep seeing each other as competition? Why is this part of our culture? It's because society keeps feeding us this truth, this information. It keeps putting us against each other. Let's try and see through what society is doing. And also media is playing a huge role in this, right? So we are constantly shown images of the perfect woman, right? And she keeps changing with every decade. Just look at the women in the 90s. They were supposed to be super slim, no boobs, no tushy. And then in the 2000s, boobs and huge tushy. And now it's all about aging, anti-aging, Botox and fillers and all of that. And I'm not saying if you have Botox or fillers, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that we're constantly being fueled with these images of the perfect woman. And it's usually done through what? Through media, right? So these comparisons, they can actually damage us. They can damage our self-esteem, and they can create this insecurity. I don't know how many times I've gotten on my social media hate from other women saying that, oh, you're a disgrace. How can you have gray hair? You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself for not taking care of yourself. I'm like, look, if I choose to go gray naturally, if I choose to not have nails and not have a lash extension and not have fillers, that's my own choice. It has nothing to do with you and your standards. If you feel insecure that I am choosing to age more gracefully, then you can take your insecurities and go and think about them. Right? This is what I want to say. But usually I try to be more compassionate and kind, and just remember that this woman is seeing something in me that she is lacking. And this is one truth that we need to remember, because I've learned this throughout the years. Usually when women hate on women, it's because they lack something within themselves, right? So instead of seeing other women as threats, try to see them as allies, right? The mindset affects our relationships, and it prevents us from forming a supportive connection. And why do we feel this way? Why do we let ourselves get caught up in this cycle of comparison and competition? I think it's important to recognize that these feelings often come, like I mentioned, from our own insecurities. Just like my story, I felt insecure within myself. And when I saw another woman really having it all together, I got envious, I got jealous, right? And then I started to hate on her. And she didn't deserve that, but it was because I was so insecure on the inside. So the real competition here is the insecurity within us. The real competition isn't with other women. It's with our own insecurities. When we feel insecure, it's easy to project those feelings onto others. We want to believe that if someone else is successful or beautiful, it means that we are not, right? Because we're constantly in that comparison mode. But the truth here, my friends, is that our worth is not determined by others. it comes from within. We need to start recognizing and addressing our own insecurities. So yes, going on that inner journey, understanding what is lacking inside of me. This is the first step to breaking that cycle of comparison and competition. When we focus on our own journey, what happens? Yes, this is where we invite growth and self-acceptance. We learn to support and uplift other women. And when I actually learned this, that when I work on myself, I actually have the capacity to lift other women up. And by default, I will also feel uplifted. Isn't it cool how that works? That circle of love and support actually works. So we can see their successes as an inspiration rather than a threat. All right. So how does perimenopause come into this, right? When we reach a certain age, when you hit that 35 plus, when you hit that 40 plus, your body starts changing. Perimenopause is a time of significant change, both physically and emotionally, because it starts in the brain. I think I've said this a few times. I'm not going to go into brain physiology here, but our bodies go through a lot of changes, and this can be a very challenging and sensitive time, but it can also be a time of transformation. And during perimenopause, we start to reflect more on our own lives. We seek a deeper understanding of who we are and what our purpose is. And this shift in perspective can be a very powerful catalyst, starting point for our own personal growth. So a lot of women usually go through that sense of change, not only in the body, but also in the brain, mind, and also emotionally. We begin to realize that our worth is not tied to our physical appearance or external achievements. Instead, it's about who we are on the inside. And this deeper understanding, it helps us embrace our unique qualities and appreciate the journey that we're actually on. And I want to jump into a few stars and influencers here. So if you haven't been living under a rock, you've probably seen all of these new anti-aging campaigns. And then you see Sigourney Weaver going out there and saying that she's so tired of all of these anti-aging campaigns, and she's promoting aging with grace, right? And then you see other stars like Winona Ryder. She was huge in the 80s and 90s, and maybe you've seen her lately in these new TV series and new films, and they're using all of these older, and I'm doing this older because for me old is just a number, right? It's how you feel on the inside actually is going to determine your age, believe it or not. Yes, your body changes, but it doesn't matter. They're finally putting more and more women on the silver screen that actually look like they are aging. Sarah Jessica Parker, right? From Sex and the City back in the 90s, right? She's actually refusing to do Botox and fillers. She wants to age gracefully, and she's getting a lot of, pardon my friends, shit. She's getting a lot of hate. From who? From fans. How can you let yourself go? How can you look like that? And it actually makes me really, really scared, because if our 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds are hating on the women who choose to age gracefully, what type of human is that going to become? Now, it sounds like I'm talking about an alien species here, but for me, it's like, really? Or can I trust that that woman, her insecurities about herself, one day she will also realize that it was, again, her own insecurities that made her hate on other women, right? So there is a lot of pressure right now for stars to maintain that youthful appearance, and they're often criticized for their age. And this creates this fear of growing older. But there's also the other side right now, aging naturally and aging gracefully. And they serve as a powerful role model, showing us that it's okay to age and that we can do so with a lot of dignity and self-love. when I think about aging gracefully, I usually think about my grandmother. My grandmother was, for me, she is the perfect role model of a woman who was aging gracefully. She took care of herself, her appearance. She worked out in the most natural way. She was bicycling 1 hour every day to get to her little space, her little land where she was, having loads of veggies and flowers and her little space, her little haven, basically. But for me, she was a woman on the go. She was taking care of herself, and she was always dressing in these impeccable, beautiful dresses. Didn't wear that much makeup, but always had her hair done. And she didn't do it for anyone except herself. She divorced when she was in her 40s. She went through some health problems, but she came out of it as a winner, as a fighter, as an independent woman. For me, she was a superwoman, and she is my role model when it comes to aging with true beauty coming from within. Because she was not your, typical model standard woman that you would put in a magazine, right? But for me, she was the most beautiful woman in the entire world. And when she passed away, this is about 10 years ago, I started to dive into the world of 80s clothing because I wanted to reconnect with her on a deeper level. And my love for 80s clothes, dresses, hair started to, become something that became that little link for me between me and my grandmother. And 80s, when I look at the 80s, yes, there was a lot of crazy hair in the 80s. There was a lot of crazy makeup and lipstick, but women were natural. Women were natural in a very powerful way, right? There was a lot of confidence. There was a lot of authenticity going around in the 80s. I just love that. So how can we embrace aging with grace? What does it mean? What does it mean to accept and love ourselves at every stage in our life? It's about taking care of ourselves. All right, let's start there. Take care of your body, take care of your mind, take care of your heart, and focus on your own personal growth. And if you are a woman going through perimenopause or menopause, self-care is crucial. It's time for you to put yourself first, my darling, right? This includes physical care, like eating well, staying active, as well as emotional care, like nurturing our mental health and staying connected with our loved ones. If you are a mother, you've done so much work by nourishing and taking care of your family, bringing up your young ones. Well, it's time for you to get back to your feminine power. Embrace the changes of what it means to go through perimenopause and menopause, and learn that you can age gracefully, and it can actually become a time filled with a lot of joy, where you can just reshift your mindset about everything and learn to live in the present moment, the joy, the here and the now. We can focus on what truly matters, which is our health, our relationships, and our personal fulfillment. Overall, what is the biggest takeaway that I want us to take away from this little talk? The lesson from today, for me, maybe for you, if you resonate with this, is that the competition is within us, not with other women. Our worth is not determined by how we compare to others. It's about our own self-love and self-acceptance. Let's support each other. Let's grow together. Let's lift each other up. We can all thrive. So if you're seeing, on social media, here on Facebook, one of your fellow female friends posting a selfie of herself, maybe you can take a moment to send her a heart, a comment, because maybe she had a good day, or she actually felt so good about herself that she wanted to post a selfie and share that with the world. Not because she thinks that she's better than everyone else, no, just because in that moment, maybe she was looking for a little bit of compassion, of kindness, of support. And let's be honest, support from another woman to another woman, that is weighing so heavy. It means more than getting a compliment from a man. Let's be honest about that. It is. When a woman tells me, oh my gosh, Monica, you look amazing today. Wow. It really hits me hard on such a deep level than a man telling me, oh, you look so beautiful today. And I'm like, brush it off. Yeah, thank you. So remember, we are not rivals. We're allies on this journey of self-love and improvement. And I invite you to reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever felt in competition with other women because of your own insecurities? Let's be honest now. If you're here with me in the live, comment yes. Share something. What is it that you might be lacking within yourself that fuels this sense of rivalry? I will tell you my own, right? My own personal lack of insecurity was a lot of external things, because I was brought up standing in front of a mirror, dancing for 6 to 8 hours a day, right? So my body was my instrument as a dancer, but it was also something that I had to keep in check and have to keep perfect every single day. And that created a rivalry between all of the other girls in the room, because we kept comparing each other, right? Who's the best dancer? Who has the highest kicks? Who has the highest jumps? Who's the most flexible? And so on, right? My insecurity started from me living in a life of competition, right? In the world of dancing. And as if there's any fellow dance teachers in here, what can we do to change that atmosphere for our young dancers so they don't grow up feeling like they have to compete with everyone else in the room? Instead, make it about self-improvement, right? How can we nourish that, and how can we lift that up? If you feel like this is a safe place, and I really hope that it is, share your thoughts with us. Let's start this conversation, and let's support each other on this journey of self-love and growth. And as always, I am immensely grateful for all of you being here, for us sharing these small topics with each other. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for writing in the comments. I'm looking over to the side here if you're watching me in the recording, just to read your amazing comments. And I'm embracing my 80s vibe. I'm embracing my grandma as my role model in life. And I hope that you feel inspired enough today to sit down and ask yourself, what is really important to you right here, right now? Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, if you want me to go deeper into another topic that's related to our female health, whether it's related to mindset, whether it's related to our emotional well-being, we cover it all here in this group. Let's help each other grow and thrive in life. Biggest kisses. Take care. Ciao. Bye.